Hi, my name is Mike Robertson. Today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about electrode classification systems, both for stick welding and for MIG welding. Now, first of all, we shouldn't be calling it stick welding. We should be calling it SMAW, or shielded metal arc welding. For shielded metal arc welding, most of us just call it stick welding, but that's not really the proper name. This is probably the welding most of us are familiar with. Maybe we've seen our parents or grandparents or somebody doing this. It comes in either AC, DC, electrode positive, or electrode negative. Now, how do we determine what rod to use? Well, you have to know a little bit about the electrode classification system. Those are the numbers that are printed way down here on the base of these electrodes. They're also called welding rods. The numbers are also located on the box. Now, the box gives you a lot of information. So this, for example, is a 6013 rod. It's 330 seconds. It's made to run between 70 and 100 amps on AC or DC positive or DC negative. That's electrode positive or electrode negative. So if you don't have the box, you're left to kind of interpret these numbers. Now, this is 7018 and this is a 6010. So what do those numbers mean? Well, for SMAW, or shielded metal arc welding, the first couple numbers here, the 70, stands for the tensile strength in thousands of pounds. So it's 70,000 pounds in terms of tensile strength. This number in the tens position right here stands for the position. Number 1 is flat on a flat surface, so you can hold like this. Number 2 would be horizontal on a horizontal surface. Number 3 would be vertical on a horizontal surface. And 4 would be overhead. So if you see a 1 in this position, you can weld in number 1, 2, 3, or 4 positions. Any of those. It's any position. If you were to see like a 7024, for example, there's a 2 here, that's a limited position to positions number 1 and positions number 2. The last position here just stands for the composition of the flux on the outside of the rod and the current, what type of current you should use. That's the AC, DC, electrode positive or negative. Incidentally, a 7018, most 7018s you can run on AC or DC. Sometimes you see a box where it's marked 7018 AC, but most of the time you can run it either way. So, another example would be the 6013 or 6010, 6011. Most of the 60 series is a lot higher penetration, and you may not be able to run a 6010. A 6010 is a DC only rod. You may not be able to run that on all machines, but you should know if you don't have the information from the box, you should definitely look it up online. There's great apps now you can get, or just get a quick chart, print it off, and that'll tell you what positions you can weld in. Is it high penetration rod? Is it low penetration rod? Is it fast freezing? Is it low freezing? 718 is low freezing. 6010, 6011 are high or fast freezing. High penetration rods. So those are probably the most common two for root passes. 6010, 6011 for root pass is the first pass you would make, and then 7018 would be a cover pass. It's a low penetration rod. It looks a lot better. Alright, so MIG welding, GMAW. Most of us just call it MIG welding. Again, it's not proper. We should call it gas metal arc welding. Now, gas metal arc welding, the most common electrode we'll use is an ER70S6. And these are called disposable electrodes because you're actually depositing the metal in the middle for your weld, unlike TIG or something like that, where the electrode's not disposable. You want to save the tungsten. So ER70S6, it just stands for electrode rod, and the tensile strength is the 70 in this case, and the 6 is the amount of silica that's in it. It provides a small amount of cleaning action. The major difference between SMAW and GMAW is the fact that any cleaning or protection of the weld is provided by the flux on the outside of this. For GMAW, you're just using a straight wire. There's no flux on it, and the cleaning action is actually provided by some gas. Normally, that gas is what's called a C25 gas. It's 75% argon and 25% carbon dioxide. The gas runs through the gun, and it comes out around the weld area and protects the weld until it has a chance to solidify. So, for GMAW welding, you're actually going to look somewhere on the spool of wire that you get, somewhere on the electrode, and it will tell you, in this case it says ER70S6 0.03, so that's just 0.030 is the actual diameter of the wire. These electrodes to it will tell you the diameter of the electrode itself on the box you get. You will have flux cord wire too, so you can with most of these welders, or if you get a cheap welder from Harbor Freight, someplace like that, it's a flux cord wire, which means it has flux like this on the inside of the wire. For that, you do not use shielding gas. For 90% of the applications, you're not going to need shielding gas to protect that weld at all. For any applications that you'll do at home, you're either going to be using stick electrode, that's SMAW, shielded metal arc welding electrode, or you're probably going to be using, hopefully, a shielding gas. If not, but if you have shielding gas, you'll be using the ER70S6. Most smaller welders, like this one, this is a Miller-Matic 211. It's a great little welder. Most smaller welders are just doing short circuit transfer, where the wire comes out of the gun and it actually touches whatever you're welding, touches the weldment. It short circuits back, and it continually does that. You can do spray transfer with this, but not for very long. You have to crank it up really high, and it's probably more for an industrial type use. But the long and short of it is, unless you're doing this every day, you should probably just get an app on your cell phone, or maybe print off a chart, post it somewhere in the shop, somewhere common where you're working, and it will have all of this information down for you if you can't remember it. All right, that's it for now. Have a good day. Thanks.